Tom, will you clean it?
Tom,
Yeah?
you have a mess.
What?
Do you think you could clean up your mess?
I'm very busy.
That looks so good. You know, I have these oil lamps. I never use them. I probably have about 8 oil lamps. I just haven't used them because I'm afraid I'm going to burn the house down. Candle, fresh baked bread. Look at that wonderful wood stove oven thing. The dough rose really nicely. I have to get her to teach me how to bake bread. Can you teach me how to bake bread? Now that looks like my counter all the time. This is very calming. The music is so soothing. Why does my tea look weird? Oh, because it's coffee. I really like one of those things. Oh, this is pretty. I love how the water, the steam is rising by that light. That's so pretty.
Sweet name, dear Lord Jesus. Amen.
Amen. He's buttering her bread. How sweet is that? She holds the bread and he butters it. Honestly, this looks just like the picture we had hanging over our stereo when I was a kid, with the old man praying by the loaf of bread, "Give us this day our daily bread." But this is like a living enactment of that picture. It's so pretty with the candlelight, the calm music. This is so calming. Like everything is in order and clean, and they're finding things and they're sharing their dessert politely. Like, who shares their dessert politely? Not us. Usually I eat most of it, which is why Tom's so skinny and I'm not as skinny. This is beautiful. I love how this ends and they're just eating their food. And they're not chewing with their mouths open either. I would probably be going. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. beautiful. You guys, I gotta call Julie. I don't know how to live this simple life. I really don't. Julie!
Man, this is so great.
This is so exciting. I love it.
It's like having you in my home.
Okay, let's talk about your home. I watched your video, The Simple Life, and I'm absolutely I'm so bad at doing the simple life. I moved into this house, this old house, because I wanted the simple life. And I live in the woods kind of because I want the simple life. And
Right.
and in my ideals, I bought a whole bunch of of dresses, calico dresses, just to be
Yeah.
the simple life. But reality and my dreams that I'm envisioning for myself are totally different. And you made
Okay.
the most beautiful video. And I need help.
Thank you. Well, I think if you go out in search of the simple life, I think it's harder to find than if you just allow it to happen. Because that life has progressed over time for Joe and I. Does that make sense?
In other words, I can't have it tomorrow.
Well, I think you can, but I think that it's something that I think it's a lot of habits that fall into place. It's a lot of I want to say it's even a little bit of minimalism,
Okay.
because you're simplifying all the areas of your life. And I think to do that, like you look today, you look at a lot of the people today, they have so much and they don't want to part with all of that. But as you grow older, you realize, why did I hang on to this? This was so silly to hang on to this, and it becomes easier for you to part with. So that lifestyle becomes easier for you to gravitate towards. I think it's like growing older, you gain wisdom. It's gaining that in time and over time. And I think some people have that from the beginning.
Mhm.
I wish I did.
But you're doing really well at it right now. And, quite honestly, you're a couple years younger than me and you've got it nailed. And I don't, okay? Honestly, I don't. So it's January. I want this year to be minimalistic life, even in the middle of my country clutter.
Yeah.
I'm always working on that with my design, right? I make
Right.
sure things aren't cluttered, and I think I have that one down, all right? But I don't have my day-to-day life operations down.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
I think you have to sit down and really look and focus on what your needs are, and what you can do without and what you can't do without. It doesn't always work for everybody, and you can do a little bit at a time. And as one thing works better for you, you can go there. I'm not all minimalistic. I like very few things. I like a very simple life. Yeah, very simple. But as you can see behind me, this is my sewing room. I'm constantly, it's work in progress. I'm constantly paring down all the time. And, everyday life, it's work. But, as far as the video goes, that is our life. That is literally our life. It helps our minds to be uncluttered, to simplify everything down to basic.
Okay.
Like back in the days of old. I feel like it just releases that stress, less to think about, less to hold on to, and I think that's why I love it so much.
So that is what, honestly, Tom was sitting at a table full of papers and bills and crap, okay? And I called him in to look at your video, and he's like, okay. And he comes in and, he's got his cup of coffee and he's like jangled, and he sits down and he's like watching, and then he goes, you could see his shoulders go down. You could see his breath getting deeper, and everything just started calming,
Yeah.
And that's how I felt. Like I watched it 3 times because I was like, but the reality of our last night was our daughter brought Moe's Monday home. We did it on the grill. So we ate these burritos that, I thought it was like cookie to put them on the grill and flip them over so they were warm again. And we sat in front of a TV show. And I don't even remember what it was. Oh, I tried to do When Calls the Heart because I wanted to calm me down. But then it was like when, what's her face that went to jail was on it. I was like, this isn't calming me down because now I'm like, so, and then Jack was on it and he, died, spoiler alert. So, I didn't want, I didn't even know what to watch. And I just sat there. I'm like, I have to watch something. So I kept watching your video just to try to calm myself down. But now I need my life to be like that. So give me 5 tips to get my life like that.
Well,
I'd make it snappy.
first of all, oh no, there's no pressure here, right? I'll tell you, first of all, you have to be intentional in what you do.
Okay.
You have to be able to let go of some of those things that do cause that stress, even though you don't realize that they do. TV. Did you notice there was no TV? That is a rarity in our house. We literally watch very, very little TV. And that's something few people know about us. Even our kids will say, do you see this show or do you see? No, we don't even know all of those shows. We just don't watch TV because I feel like it's allowing stress. It's allowing all of that stuff. Your life, you want it to be simple, but you're willing to watch somebody else's life and all the drama that's going on with their life and all the problems and all the, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You're watching all of that and it brings it into your life because you're feeling what they're feeling.
Yeah.
And that's stressful.
Very,
so
very.
I'll let that go.
I'm afraid. Go ahead.
Well, it gets easier. It gets easier. It's hard at first, but it gets easier.
We've turned off the TV for a long time and found that to be true, but then we just turn on our computer screens and we start scrolling Facebook and then we end up in the news, and that's actually more stressful than finding some, we're just watching Hallmark love stories.
Tip number 2.
Okay.
Social media. Computers. You know what? It's a tough one. It's getting tougher for me. The more I grow, the more my channel grows, the more I grow in general. I started this bakery and, it causes me to be on my phone more. And I find that brings a lot of stress to my life because my husband will look at me and he'll say, "Are you on that phone again?" "Yes, but I have to write down these orders," or "I just had to check my mail," or, so-and-so is texting me and I need to answer them back, or my daughter-in-law just called me. She's homeschooling her daughter through, everything going on right now, and she's home from work and her daughter needed help with her homework. So, it's a constant thing. You're always being pulled to that. But you have to make it a conscious effort to let go. A good way to do that is to, put times, allow times. I'm going to get on my computer this, X amount of time of day. It's going to be, at this point in the day or this point in the day, or I'm just going to check my messages at this time of the day, or, you know what I mean? You really have to form habits and stick to them. It's like if you were going into work, you're going into an office and you have to schedule all these appointments. This is going to happen at this time of the day. This is going to happen at this time. You have to do the same thing with your life at home.
That is
And,
really
and
hard.
stick to it.
That is hard because like people are used to this little device here, this thing.
Yeah.
People ding me all day long, and if they don't hear from me in like 2 minutes, is everything
They
okay?
call.
What's going on? Yeah, they call, and you know, I'm just like, and once in a while I say, oh no, I walked away from my phone, and they're just like in this panic, you know. Plus, there's always that PTSD of like, what if someone dies and I miss the call, you know? Like, I mean, because it's happened, you know, like yoga, I turned it off, and then my sister, you know, so it's yeah. The phone.
I get what you're saying. I totally get it, because it has become our left arm, our right arm, it's become that thing we take to the bathroom with us.
Yeah.
We take it everywhere.
Do you
and
see
that's
that
so
I do that?
sad.
Yeah, I know. When I go into the bathroom, I take it with, because I'm like, I'm going to have 2 minutes where no one is going to bother me so I can check my phone. Because I even get bothered when I'm checking my phone.
But it's like bringing everyone into that bathroom with you. You're really not giving yourself a moment.
That's true.
You're bringing everybody who has access to that phone in with you.
Good point. Okay. All right. Okay, give me step 3.
Step 3, I think that you just have to create an atmosphere in your home that is calming. Even if it's in just one room that you walk to, that you know, this has got to be my room that I go to.
Okay.
And, you know, I mean, it can be your bedroom if you want it to be, but it's nice to have that bedroom as, you know, calming when you go to bed at night. But it's nice to have another room in the house that you can just go to. You can relax. For us, it's our kitchen.
Okay.
You know, that whole area of our house, it's so relaxing for us. We find that, I don't know, I think that's more relaxing than my bedroom. It's just because we're together there, we cook together there, we read together there, you know, it's just our moment of peace, and we plan things there. You know, it's just, that's become our zone of, you know, it's a release, I guess. It's just a,
Okay.
you know, you just breathe, and it becomes nice. And, you know, who doesn't like mood lighting?
Yes.
You know, really.
Yeah.
And when you put, you know, you light those oil lamps, you're taking all that electricity away, you're moving into tomorrow. You're into, I say tomorrow, you're moving into yesterday.
Yeah.
And I actually have a sign when you walk into my house. It says step back in time. And that's what I want to do. I want to step back in time. It was a simpler time. Things weren't easy.
Mm-hmm.
People say, well, no, it wasn't simpler. Things weren't easy, but it was a simpler time.
Okay.
There was a lot less drama than there is today. And I think you have to create that space for you.
Okay. All right. Okay. So first thing is turn off the TV. Second thing is limit your computer time. Third thing is turn out the lights.
Put the oil lamps on. You know,
Yeah.
we don't just go by oil lamps.
Yeah.
We shut the electricity off, but my sister laughs at me because I have a headlamp.
Yeah.
I actually have the little thing that you wear on your head with the little headlamp, so that when I'm walking around the room, I'm not running into everything. But I use that, you know, we'll put that on real quick, and if I have to run to the bathroom, or if I have to run into, you know, grab something from another room or something,
Yeah.
I just will not, I refuse to turn on the lights. I refuse to, because it brings me back to today. It brings me back into the real world, and I don't want to be in the real world. Isn't that awful? I want to remain in that calm and peaceful place that I've created.
Okay.
That's important for me.
Okay. So just make sure your insurance is updated so that when you fall over the coffee table, you have insurance to cover your hospital bill.
Sure,
Okay.
sure, that works.
Okay. All right. So you kind of gave me two in the last one because you turned off the lights and you created one or two rooms of serenity, which I really like that idea. That one's like the easiest for me. I just have to make sure I heat that room because else it's not calming. We have
That's where the
zones.
fireplace comes in.
Right.
The ambiance.
Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. Give me another one. One more.
Oh gosh.
Just one.
I think just leave all of the stress behind. You have to, it begins with your mind. It really begins with your mind. You can't bring up those things or think of those things that are going to, your conversation can't revolve around, I just don't know what I'm going to do about this. This is really bothering me. Let it go. Let it go. Walk into the other room, shake yourself off and say, nope, not bringing this in there with me. Walk into the other room, shut that door, and leave it behind.
Wow. Okay.
And I get that's tough to do. I mean, my life,
Yeah.
I could scare you with this, I have a lot of stuff going on in my life, but you can't let that be all of you. You have to take care of you. You have to take care of your mind. Your mind is every bit as important as your body, and if you do well with that, you can help your loved ones do well with that. You can be there for Tom and help him do that. Set that example.
So, okay, I'll give you an example of last night. Our daughter is wandering through the house in total stress because she's trying to figure out next semester's college, schedule and how does that work with her work. And she wants to take this class and la, 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 la. And she's like stressed for like an hour and a half, just pacing and walking around and bringing that stress into the room. And, and I'm watching your video, trying to take down my shoulders. And then she's wandering into your room, standing in front of the TV, screaming. And it's just going like this. And then she figures out she owes money from last semester, so she can't sign up for classes so that it really goes. Okay. So how do I keep that from affecting me?
Well, it's a choice. It really is a choice. I've become really good at that choice. One would almost say I'm very unfeeling, but I'm not. I just can't let it in.
Okay.
But as far as Cammie goes, I think that, I have a husband who is, he can tend more towards the negative than the positive. And I'm a cup half full person. He's a cup half empty. Of course, opposites attract, right?
Of course.
So I'm constantly, I don't know, it was just growing up my whole life, it was just very easy for me to always see the positive end of it. And, worrying about these things, where's it going to get you? It's not going to change anything. Mm-hmm. Leave tomorrow for tomorrow.
Okay.
Let tomorrow have tomorrow's problems. Because if you walk into them, you miss out on today. You miss out on all the blessings. You miss out on all the good things that are happening today, at this moment, right now, because you've decided to borrow all of that stuff that's not today. Let it all go. Walk away from it. It's a new day tomorrow.
And, sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof.
Well, worrying is like sitting in a rocking chair. You're just rocking and you're rocking and you're rocking. You're not going anywhere. Nothing's changing. You're just rocking, constant. It's constant movement, constant going, but nothing is changing. You are not moving. You are just, where is it getting you? You have to constantly remember that, and you're really training your mind.
Okay. Well, you are so calm, and you are my calming friend who calms me down, because I am the blood pressure Jersey girl whose mind is constantly going. I mean, I take my devices. I have two because sometimes in the middle of the night I'll run out of battery on one, that I just listen to podcasts. And I try to listen to calming podcasts. So I have a perimeter around it, like don't listen to business podcasts or how to build your YouTube podcast. You know, I try to listen to, okay, honest truth, I listen to near-death experience podcasts.
Well, my word.
And that's supposed to calm me down, but it doesn't work if they start with their story of, oh, I was in surgery and then this happened, or I had a heart attack and, you know, I was feeling this pressure and then I'm like, ah, you know, so then I have to quick change it to something else, and there just aren't enough podcasts out there to try to bring me into the, I start calming, you know, when they go through the tunnel and they see these light beings, you know, when they feel the love of God, then I'm like, okay, but, you know, there's very few of those moments encompassed with everything else. So I guess if I could turn off all the lights and turn off all the electronics at a certain time and then maybe just get really still. The problem is that it gets to step number 5, calming your mind, and my mind goes to the dark places.
Oh, my mind goes all the time. Like it never shuts down. It's all the time moving, all the time. My husband gets so aggravated with me because he'll say, do you ever stop? Do you ever just really stop? And so I have had to learn to stop my mind, or just not tell him about it. It stopped. But let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are you okay with the silence?
I used to be. I think right now I'm experiencing PTSD because of all the deaths and stuff, and now the surgeries. So I used to be able to sit in silence. I mean, I'm a yoga instructor, for crying out loud. I teach meditation, and I do the 10% happier meditation every night, but I have it on my one phone with my earplugs in, and then I'm looking at Facebook on the other one to make sure I don't miss something while I'm doing the meditation.
Well,
I multitask during
we're all
meditation.
work in progress. We're all work in progress. But, you know, one thing, my sister, you remind me of my sister a lot. She has the hardest time because she has high blood pressure. She's always always something going on all the time. Oh my gosh, so-and-so says, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with this? Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for all the time. It's like, just calm down, because you can't do a thing about any of it. Certainly not in that state. You know, you're not going to change how all of that is. You know, you can be the change, but you got to be the change in a different way. And I think when you change yourself and you start on with yourself, you see the difference. It's a reaction that goes on and on and on. I wasn't always where I'm at, and my kids will tell you, and they're just like, Mom, you're totally a different person. And I see it, but I had to get there. And it took a long time to get there. I'm much calmer, I'm much more relaxed. It helps in processing things. It helps in, problem solving, because I'm more thoughtful about everything. I don't react, I respond. And that's important. But I've also had to learn to be okay with the silence. I don't have to fill every moment of my day with the noise of somebody else's drama. Even if it's on a podcast, it's somebody else's drama. Or, be okay with those moments of silence and let your mind be creative. Yeah, said very well. My phone starts ringing. I'm telling you.
You have to check it.
You have to be okay with that time, and it's not easy. You have to learn it, because, we learned where we're at today. We learned all of that behavior. We learned how to be this way because of our environment, everything around us. today is so different. Even you look back and when you were a kid, how things are so different today than when you were a kid. Life was so much less complicated.
I
And
remember
today
sitting in
it
front
has
of the
become
fan.
very complicated.
It
And I don't
has.
think that it has helped that society has created this fast food world. They want an instant action right now. Everything. It's all at your fingertips. It's not real life. It's not how it should be.
That's wonderful. You are so good. Thank you. You know, you've reminded me that about 5 years ago, I was doing yoga every day, 6, 7 years ago, whatever. And that gave me that time to just slow down,
Yeah.
medicate. It was giving me the physical activity. And I remember my kids saying to me, I don't know, you just changed. You're like a rock. And I was.
Yeah.
And they're like, I said, it's got to be the yoga. And my daughter was like, no, it's got to be, it went through menopause. And I'm like, no, I think it's the yoga. Well, now that I still have gone through menopause, it's got to be the yoga because, you know, and I'm listening to you talk and I'm like, yeah, I used to be that way. So, you know, hopefully when my gut heals, I'll be able to twist again. This was good, Julie. Julie, thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. I wish we
Oh,
lived closer.
I know. This was so wonderful. This was so wonderful.